Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 is right around the corner, and the live build of that new patch is expected by mid-November. Cloud Imperium have given us a status update for the patch, as well as a follow-up to all the features they've shown over the last few months for it, what's new and how they've improved. Cloud Imperium dropped a Star Citizen Alpha 3.18 status update with Jake Acapella, CIG, posting on Reddit and Spectrum. Hey everyone, we wanted to give you a quick update on the current status of 3.18 as we're eagerly awaiting the first build to be released to Evocati. We've been testing heavily with our internal QA groups across our studios with great results, with a quick turnaround on bugs being tracked down during general server behavior. We are working on fixing a couple of recently discovered low-level network bugs causing instability in the game server to entity graph communication, which in turn can cause a large array of additional issues that are only exacerbated with additional players. Therefore, until we get these last few issues sorted out, it will be hard to utilize the valuable feedback we typically get from Evocati. We greatly appreciate your patience as we get through this process. Persistent entity streaming is a massive technological endeavor, and we thank all of you for bearing with us. The Evocati release is being evaluated daily, and we'll update once we're ready for prime time. So it sounds like the Evocati release could literally be any day now, but it is based on them solving some bugs. The Inside Star Citizen this week was a Q3 follow-up, and expanded out how features have evolved and changed for that 3.18 patch and what's new to them. Hull scraping. What's actually different between the Reclaimer and Vulture for gameplay in 3.18 and salvage there? The Reclaimer has 2 turrets and more space to store salvaged RMC, the recycled materials composite, than the Vulture does, so not a huge amount of difference really, other than the amount of space there. In this implementation of salvage at least. Tier 1 salvage coming in the future, that will see munching of larger pieces of salvage, sort of big sections of ships, and the Reclaimer will be able to do that to a much larger scale than the Vulture can. The salvage beam will not work through a target's shield, so you can use it offensively, but not when shields are up on a target. The repair mechanics with the multi-tool will only be able to patch up holes in the hull and not repair lost parts or wings or anything like that. It's basically replenishing the health of the hull with sort of metal foam that you fill a hole in with. You will be able to salvage player and NPC ships, so you blow up a ship, whatever, or that you come to a site where there's been a battle, you'll be able to salvage the ships there, but you'll also be able to salvage fresh derelict sites, which will spawn around asteroid fields, Lagrange points, and other locations in space. I'm not sure if they're going to spawn in the ground in 3.18, but definitely in space, and this allows you to have salvage options without combat, and they're effectively minables for salvage. The Grey Cat buggy track has seen improvements and bug fixes. Cars were going off the track and breaking out of the areas, taking shortcuts that they weren't supposed to, so they needed to fence these bits off appropriately. There are always going to be 8 buggies spawned on the track. Players don't need to bring their own buggy to the racecourse. They spawn on the side, and then you bring them to the starting line. Destroyed buggies will then respawn back in the little side area. Security Post Korea has seen a lot of internal changes, new assets, paint job, branding and gameplay there. Low crime stats of 1 and 2 will no longer make you a public enemy. You'll be able to land at landing zones and pay off those crime stats just in fines. You can also go to a fines terminal to surrender to law enforcement, which will give you 20% off time served for your prison sentence. For prisons more generally, NPCs are now actively walking around in the mining area. They have lootable items that may sort of be useful to a player. There's a black spot area which gives you a new mission, which is all working. There are some new routes and areas around Klesha as well. Daymar Crash Site has seen LOD, level of detail improvements. The missions there were apparently too easy, so they've added some more AI. They've improved pathfinding for them too. The cave with the crashed 600i is there, but nothing else is there at the moment in that cave, beyond that crash ship. They are integrating 3 mission types at that Daymar Crash Site. A kill specific target one, kill all targets, and delivery missions. They are also going to be making the Sand Nomads, the NPCs there, but for 3.18 it's going to be the Ninetales. They will change that over in the future. Sand Caves have seen improvements. They're still coming to 3.18 as well. The various floating islands around Orison will host some missions in 3.18 when the Siege event isn't running. So those Siege of Orison platforms, as well as potentially some more, will be available for various other missions that will spawn. They've been testing various eliminate target and target missions, some pretty basic ones, but they should expand out the gameplay pretty well for that area. There are new rivers on Microtech and Hurston in 3.18, and River Tech has improved too with better visuals. There's new cliff edges that they've made as well, so around some areas of the river they go, well actually there would technically be cliffs each side, so there's additional rocks and asset distribution as well, refined splines allowing for more organic looking and smoother river paths. There's actually some good improvements there to their visuals. There was a follow-up on Reddit about rivers, with one user saying to this sort of general thread about Inside Star Citizen, I'm surprised no one's mentioned rivers, they look great. Another replying, they look cool, sure, but like who cares? They've been working on the river for a year now, it's ridiculous it's still occupying someone's workload. Figwig from CIG replied to this, hey, so other people in the comments have addressed most of these, but just to confirm, that isn't the same river that we showed. There are now 40 rivers saved out in the Stanton system, and I generally generate a new river every time I do testing, so I'm always looking at a different one. And handplay stuff, we don't have any way of manually directing a river, it's absolutely always using the erosion stuff. In regards to it's beyond ridiculous that it's occupying someone's workload still, rivers are entirely my work, or the code is. But they aren't my entire workload. It's not even half. It's just what I talk about on Inside Star Citizen, as it's the most visually exciting of the things I work on. To answer some other questions that I keep seeing pop up, tributaries, waterfalls, multiple rivers leading into a lake and ocean, etc. are all coming. Most are blocked by our fairly limited water shading. This is actually what I'm spending Q4 on, proper flow mapping and water transitions, important for many things in our game, including but not limited to rivers. Does the river get wider / thinner? Yes, I've shown sections of similar width. Are we planning on using the river tool to generate other points of interest, canyons, roads, tracks, etc.? Oh yeah, this was all written with that sort of thing in mind. This will come. Also, using it to drive animal nests and other secondary points of interest. Once we've got animal AI, I'm sure we'll use rivers to drive this. Why do rivers look the same as they did a year ago? I don't agree. A year ago, there were no rivers in game, for a start. The push to turn rivers from a tech demo to something that we could put in game was a long one. It in theory sounds simple, but being built on all new tech meant that it touched a lot of systems, and that had to all be accounted for. That all happened this time last year. Then most of my new river work has been done on the new auto placement tool. This assesses a planet on scale and produces river systems around it. That's like an entirely new tool with some fairly major algorithms involved. Only since then, I've been working again on visual improvements, and I'm fairly confident in saying that the rivers have completely transformed since the version that you are currently exploring. I encourage you guys to check them out. I love the fact that dev was clearly quite passionate about working on rivers and actually took the time to answer some questions and thread bits on Reddit, and basically went, no, look, I totally disagree. I've been working on that, and there's been huge improvements. They didn't exist last year, and now they exist, and they're getting a lot better, and they look a lot better, so deal with it. Good for you, buddy. There was also a small bit of cargo updatey bits in a response to Cloud Imperium not yet showing off the cargo refactor. Disco Lando posted on Twitter, this latest Inside Star Citizen was about new info and about features we've previously covered this season. That doesn't include the cargo refactor, which we will discuss next quarter, closer to 3.18's release. Also, there was a few other bits and bobs in Inside Star Citizen I want to mention. It was the last Inside Star Citizen episode for the quarter, so there is going to be a 3-week break until the 27th of October, and before we have any more Inside Star Citizen episodes. The Frankfurt office has apparently moved into their new building, their new studio there, and the UK teams are preparing to migrate to Manchester starting next week. To what extent their studio is complete, I don't know. Have they got temporary studios? Are they just moving over there in preparation of moving into their new studio? We'll have to wait and see. I will probe CIG somewhat. Boom! That's it for today's Alpha 3.18 updates and status report. CitizenCon is next Saturday for the 8th of October. That's pretty hype, but what do you think? Do you like the progress and improvements that are being made to Alpha 3.18? Are you concerned that the cargo factor might not amount to much in 3.18 with all other content, and there is quite a lot of it taking focus? It might actually be that the cargo factor is actually quite a minor sort of change in regard to tangible gameplay in 3.18, and the sort of core of that is foundation work for the future. Maybe it changes like a few little things in game. You're like, well, this is cool, but what does that mean for 3.18? Potentially not much. What do you think of salvage? I am glad they confirmed non-combat salvage sites. I wonder if they're going to have sort of loot on board those ships as well. Oh my, I need to explore everything. What are you looking forward to at CitizenCon? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'm Nord Catcham, and it's my mission to become a Nord Master. Oh no, it's Team Hacksaw. Hacksaw uses trackers and blocks your ability to go on websites like Netflix and watch the content that you want to on Netflix? ? Go NordyChew. NordyChew uses nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. It is super effective. He beats Team Hacksaws and he becomes a NordVPN master, a Nordymon master. Fortunately, with NordVPN, you don't need to catch them all. You just need to get a subscription from nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for September, we're giving away 3 ships, 1 each, to 3 different lucky winners. The Origin 100i, the 125A, and the 135C. Any of these solid starter ships will allow you just to jump in to Star Citizen and play right away. All you need to do is comment on any of my videos made during the month to be in for a chance of winning one of those. More details in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to further support the channel, consider using the join button under my videos or becoming a Patreon. Either way, you'll get access to some exclusive content and have more of a voice in shaping the channel. A huge thank you to anyone that already does that. You are amazing. I love you. Zin also is contractually obliged to love you. There is a link for donations and all that jazz in the description below as well if that is your preferred medium. It is super appreciated, genuinely. Once again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.